Good morning to everyone. Today is Saturday, January 11th, 2020. It's a little bit before 7:30 because I don't have to take my daughter to school today. I'm able to just kind of go at a nice relaxed pace, and I wanted to go on as soon as possible because we do have some other items to get to today once I get off the live. And this is the moment where I wait for all my friends to come and join me because all my friends are on YouTube and you can be too. Subscribe. Yes, so all my friends are here on YouTube and I'm going to wait for them to start coming in. And while I do that, I'm going to be sharing out this live stream feed to my Facebook page. If you haven't stopped off at Facebook, look me up, 40 Entrepreneur Drive, and like me. Like me at Facebook, not my personal page, but if you actually type in 40 Entrepreneur Drive, you will find me. And I post some additional supplemental stuff over there, as well as my weigh-ins and some of the updates to my challenges. So you can head over to Facebook and like me there, share me out there. And yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Reading the Bible and finishing up, well, almost finishing up, almost at the end of Genesis, week 2 of reading the Bible. I have so many typos right now. In a year. All right. So that goes on my Facebook fan page, 40 Entrepreneur Drive. If you haven't started following me over there, please follow me over there. I do post slightly different information at that platform. Now I'm going to go to Twitter. I do post on Twitter, not as frequently as Instagram and Facebook, but I do post over there. So I'm going to post a tweet, reading the Bible in a year. We are almost through with Genesis, y'all. And let's see, come and join the chat. Okay, put in a couple hashtags like the Bible and Christianity. And what else is a good hashtag? How about Genesis? Genesis, yes. And I will tweet that out. Now, let me see. Close that up. I don't post on Reddit very often, but I do check in with Reddit, with other subreddits that I follow, like small YouTubers and business people, entrepreneurship, and a couple of other ones. But I'm going to post this to my Reddit under 40 Entrepreneur. If you ever want to look me up on Reddit, I'm under 40 Entrepreneur, which is one word. And I'm just going to put up an image over here, which is one of the, well, not one of, but the thumbnail that I created, which is the lion and the lamb. Isn't that cool? That's really nice. I believe I got that off of Pexels. Pexels is where I get most of my, oh, I can't find it. Okay, that's all right. Pexels is where I get most of my photos. Reading the Bible in a year, Genesis chapters 35 through, okay, yes. And I'm going to post it on there. Pexels.com is where I get most of my images and videos. It is a free site. They do encourage you to give the creators and photographers credit. I have not been doing that. I want to do that more. So I apologize to all the creators that have provided me with those free images and videos. But yeah, if you're looking for ways to level up on your thumbnail making or add some nice imagery and videos to your content, check out Pexels. This is not a sponsored ad. That's just what I use. Okay, so I put that on my Reddit. I put that on YouTube. Let's see. I guess I can share it on my personal page too. I don't use social media for personal reasons. I just don't. But I have started like a month or two ago actually using my personal web page. So if you follow me at Kenya Sanchez, I'm just going to be putting my YouTube stuff on there anyways. So come and read the Bible with me and let me know what you think about these passages. Okay, that is now posted on my public Facebook. So if you go to my actual Facebook, you're not going to find anything personal there. Only 40 Entrepreneur Drive stuff, maybe some of my other website stuff. Okay. And at this point, I'm going to head back to you guys. Switch it up so you can see me. And here I am. I did my little sound test with my headphones on. I think I'm coming through clearly. And so, good morning. Again, good morning. Happy Saturday. Let me double check my properties on this microphone. Okay, good. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Today is January 11th. For those of you who are joining me on the live chat, welcome. For those of you who are playing this on the replay, welcome. Thumbs up now or thumbs up later, just thumbs up. Participate as you will in the chat rooms. Say hello. If you're discovering me for the first time, which I've had a couple new people in lately, let me know how you found me. Did I come up in your recommendations? Did you search for me? Did someone tell you about me? I would love to know so that I can use that information to reach a wider audience. I'm going to pop out my chat box over here on the side because I like to watch myself in OBS, tab or window, because it doesn't have the delayed reaction that you guys see. It's like a 10-second, 15-second delay sometimes. So I can see and make sure that I'm showing up good. Make sure that you can see the books and things like that. And yeah, let me do a quick screen share for those of you who don't already know what I'm reading from or what my guide is. This is my download from Amazon.com. There's a link to this particular guide in the description box. There's a link to the Bible that I'm reading. There's a link to this book, A Woman's Guide to Reading the Bible in a Year, A Life-Changing Journey into the Heart of God by Diane Stortz. We are going to be finishing up week 2, which I'm a little bit off because, like I said before, the new year started on a Wednesday, and I did start reading the Bible on the 1st, but I wanted to be starting the start of the week. And so we are in the second week of what did I just do? We're in the second week of reading the Bible. I'll just read this heading here again while I wait for anybody who's still coming in late. This is week 2, and it's covering faithfulness and deceit. I don't know what that noise was. I'm sorry what that noise was. Faithfulness and deceit. God tested Abraham's faith with the shocking command to sacrifice Isaac, the child of the promise. Though the request made no sense to him, Abraham committed himself to obey, believing that even if his son did die, God would restore Isaac's life, which later on we will cover in Hebrews 11:17 through 19. Isaac's submission and God's provision of a ram for the burnt offering foreshadowed the future sacrifice of Jesus on the cross. Isaac and Rebekah's twin sons, Esau and Jacob, and the sons and daughters Jacob had with Leah and Rachel, Bilhah and Zilpah, the next generation of Abraham's descendants, experienced intrigue, broken relationships, and deceit. Yet, God appeared to both Isaac and Jacob and affirmed his covenant promise to Abraham with him. After years in Haran with Rebekah's relatives, Jacob returned home to Canaan, a wealthy man, and reconciled with his brother, who was Esau. Along the way, God changed Jacob's name to Israel. Esau's descendants became the nation of Edom, inhabiting the southeastern portion of Canaan. From Jacob's 12 sons, the nation of Israel grew. And the 12 sons of Ishmael, Abraham's son with Sarah's maid Hagar, began the people known today as Arabs. I don't think I actually read that part before. So yeah, I'm glad I did go over this. Let's see. Come on now. Come on, work with me. Okay, so reading through Genesis 23 through 42 is the goal for the second week. And these are the checkpoints that will be covered. The only land that Abraham owned, birthrights and blessings, a ladder to heaven, which was, what was that, the dream that Jacob had? A special tenth. Let's see if I can remember. Oh my goodness, my comprehension is good when I'm reading, but my memory's not so good, you guys. Does anybody remember the 10th? I remember reading about it. There was the spoils of wealth, was it from one of the wars? And then giving that 10th back, and dizzying dreams. William Cowper here says, the Spirit breathes upon the word and brings the truth to sight. All right, let me pop back over to the chat to make sure I see y'all. Hello again. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, we're going to get started. Today is starting off with, let me look at my calendar. I think I put it in the title already. Yesterday was Genesis 29 through 34. Today will be the YouTube live of Genesis 35 through, let's see, how can we split this up so I can finish this by tomorrow? I'll go 35 through 39 maybe? We'll see if I can get that far. Are you guys ready? Let's read the Bible. Okay, got my chat room there, got my Bible here, and you all are here watching, either now or in the replay. Actually, I do want to see my health, my YouTube health, because I like to see when people come in and if they've left and if my stream is good. All right, I've got 5 playbacks so far with 2 people watching. That's good. That works for me. Ah, yes, doing the recap. What did I just say? Chapters 29. All right. Let me give me one more window open. Thank you all for your patience. All right. Live stream up. Okay. 6 playbacks. Okay. 2 current viewers. Okay. My stream health is good. I'm doing all this over Wi-Fi, you guys, so it would be better if I was on an Ethernet, but I don't have that set up quite yet. All right. Let me see. The recap is, chapters 29 through 34. Jacob arrived at Padan Aram. Laban, his uncle Laban, pretty much manipulated him into working 7 years for one daughter, gave him another daughter, which was, the birthright is that the oldest daughter should be married off first. But he was in love with the youngest daughter, but Laban gave his youngest daughter in marriage, and then he says, well, if you want the oldest daughter, you have to work another 7 years. So it was a whole bunch of mess. And in the end, my interpretation of that was, with him cheating his brother out of his birthright and his blessing, now he's being cheated. Let me know if you get that same interpretation, or if you see that as another lesson or another moral being taught here. But Jacob went through it, going out to find his wife, Rachel, and also Leah. Now, Leah and Rachel, the sisters, one was having difficulty conceiving, the other one was having no problem conceiving. And Leah, the one who was unloved, she was praying, God, please let me have a child so that he will love me too. And my other insight from this one, I don't know if I'm right or not, but I feel like Leah had some depression issues going on, because it says there was no sparkle in Leah's eyes. And that's why Jacob didn't love her, because she was just kind of like dull and she just wasn't there. I think she was really going through some issues. And that's why he loved Rachel, because she was more vivacious. But anyway, there was the back and forth between the sisters having children, either through themselves or through the surrogate mothers, which was their handmaidens. Then what else did we cover? Jacob's wealth increased, even though Laban kept trying to cheat him and manipulate him. Jacob finally ran away and fled, because he was like, okay, I have my children now. I have my wives. I've been here 20 years now working under you. I want to go back home. Laban pursued Jacob. There was an issue. They made a covenant, or they made a treaty that they, wouldn't go against each other anymore. And then he's on his way back home. He wants to reconcile with his brother Esau. He does so by divvying up his caravan, basically, all his livestock and his riches and his servants and his children. And he did it in a way where he was like sending all the awards and gifts ahead of himself before his brother got to him, so that his brother's maybe leftover anger would be assuaged. Then we've got Jacob and Esau make peace, but not before Jacob wrestled with God. I still don't really know what was going on with that, but I thought that was interesting. Jacob wrestled with God. I was thinking it was some representation of the animosity between him and his brother, because he did do his brother wrong. He stole his birthright and he stole his blessing. Then he went off and he lived, this life of, a little bit of turmoil, but he walked away being wealthy. And so I think that was a representation of maybe God taking any anger that Esau might have had left over, because he did want to kill his brother at one point, and letting it be wrestled out with his brother. Let me know what you think about that interpretation. Okay, Jacob and Esau make peace in chapter 33. Then there's revenge against Shechem in chapter 34. Remember, Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, one of his daughters, was raped by one of the men here in the town of Hamor. Nope, Hamor was one of the people. What was that? Can't remember the town name. If you remember the town name, it just says young women who lived in the area. Okay. In either case, Dinah was raped, and her brothers wanted to avenge her honor, and her purity. There was supposed to be this treaty again that, hey, if you want to marry my daughter, if you want to marry my sister, if you want to marry my daughter, Jacob was saying, and the brothers were saying, if you want to marry my daughter, all the men in your group have to be uncircumcised, because that's our tradition. She can't marry anybody like you, because you're not like us. You're not under that covenant. And so all the men did that, followed Jacob's instructions, but then the brothers, who were still quite hot about what happened to their sister, went in and massacred everybody in that town. And Jacob was very upset. He said, you've ruined me. You've made me to stink among all the people. Basically, I gave these people my word, and you just undid my word. Now we're going to, and then their final words was, Dad, should we have let them get away with treating our sister like a prostitute? And now we're going to pick up in chapter 35, now that we're done with the recap. Why does it say, oh God? Okay, good health, good health. And welcome again to anyone who is just now popping in. Say hello. Give the live a thumbs up. Jacob's return to Bethel. Then God said to Jacob, "Get ready and move to Bethel and settle there. Build an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau." So Jacob told everyone in the household, "Get rid of all your pagan idols, purify yourselves, and put on clean clothing." Now I'm curious. After Father Abraham and all of his faithfulness, how does this idol worship make its way into their spiritual beliefs if Abraham was so faithful? So Jacob told everyone in his household, "Get rid of all your pagan idols, purify yourselves, and put on clean clothing. We are now going to Bethel, where I will build an altar to God who answered my prayers when I was in distress. He has been with me wherever I have gone." So they gave Jacob all their pagan idols and earrings, and he buried them under the tree near Shechem. What's wrong with earrings? As they set out, a terror from God spread over the people in all the towns of that area so that no one attacked Jacob's family. Eventually, Jacob and his household arrived at Luz, also called Bethel, in Canaan. Jacob built an altar there and named the place El Bethel, which means God of Bethel, because God had appeared to him there when he was fleeing from his brother Esau. Soon after this, Rebekah's old nurse, Deborah, died. She was buried beneath the oak tree in the valley below Bethel. Ever since, the tree has been called Allon Bakuth, which means Oak of Weeping. Now that Jacob had returned from Padan Aram, God appeared to him again at Bethel. God blessed him, saying, "Your name is Jacob, but you will now not be called Jacob any longer. From now on, your name will be Israel." So God renamed him Israel. Then God said, "I am El Shaddai, God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. You will become a great nation, even many nations. Kings will be among your descendants, and I will give you the land I once gave to Abraham and Isaac. Yes, I will give it to you and your descendants after you." Then God went up from the place where he had spoken to Jacob. Jacob set up a stone pillar to mark the place where God had spoken to him. Then he poured wine over it as an offering to God and anointed the pillar with olive oil. And that's something very similar to what he did before when he was sleeping on his way, sleeping and setting up camp, and he rested his head on a stone. Remember a couple chapters ago, and he anointed that stone as a place where, I think that's where he got the dream about the ladder. And now I've lost my place. Okay. Then he poured wine over it as an offering to God and anointed the pillar with olive oil. And Jacob named the place Bethel, which means house of God, because God had spoken to him there. Now we're going to cover the death of Rachel and Isaac. Leaving Bethel, Jacob and his clan moved on toward Ephrath. But Rachel went into labor while they were still some distance away. Her labor pains were intense. After a very hard delivery, the midwife finally exclaimed, "Don't be afraid, you have another son." Rachel was about to die, but with her last breath, she named the baby Ben-Oni, which means son of my sorrow. The baby's father, however, called him Benjamin, which means son of my right hand. Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. So Rachel died and was buried on the way up to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. Jacob set up a stone monument over Rachel's grave, and it can be seen there to this day. Check in on the chat. Okay. I've got so many windows open, sometimes I leave something astray. Where's my live stream so I can see myself? There we go. Wow. Then Jacob traveled on and camped beyond Migdal Eder. While he was living there, Reuben had intercourse with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Jacob soon heard about it. These are the names of the 12 sons of Jacob. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's oldest son, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's servant, were Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Zilpah, Leah's servant, were Gad and Asher. These are the names of sons who were born to Jacob at Paddan Aram. So Jacob returned to his father Isaac in Mamre, which is near Kiriath Arba, now called Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had both lived as foreigners. Isaac lived for 180 years. Then he breathed his last and died at a ripe old age, joining his ancestors in death. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Chapter 36. Descendants of Esau. This is the account of the descendants of Esau, also known as Edom. Esau married 2 young women from Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Oholibamah, the daughter of Anah, and granddaughter of Zibeon the Hivite. He also married his cousin Basemath, who was the daughter of Ishmael and the sister of Nebaioth. Adah gave birth to a son named Eliphaz for Esau. Basemath gave birth to a son named Reuel. Oholibamath gave birth to sons named Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. All these sons were born to Esau in the land of Canaan. Esau took his wives, his children, and his entire household, along with his livestock and cattle, all the wealth he had acquired in the land of Canaan, and moved away from his brother Jacob. There was not enough land to support them both because of all the livestock and possessions they had acquired. So Esau, also known as Edom, settled in the hill country of Seir. This is the account of Esau's descendants, of the Edomites, who lived in the hill country of Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Esau's wife Adah, and Reuel, the son of Esau's wife Basemath. The descendants of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Timnah, the concubine of Esau's son Eliphaz, gave birth to a son named Amalek. These are the descendants of Esau's wife Adah. The descendants of Reuel were Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These are the descendants of Esau's wife Basemath. Esau also had sons through Oholibamah, the daughter of Anah and granddaughter of Zibeon. Their names were Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the descendants of Esau who became the leaders of various clans. The descendants of Esau's oldest son, Eliphaz, became the leaders of the clans of Teman, Omar, Zepho, Kenaz, Korah, Gatam, and Amalek. These are the clan leaders in the land of Edom who descended from Eliphaz. All these were descendants of Esau's wife Adah. The descendants of Esau's son Reuel became the leaders of the clans of Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These are the clan leaders in the land of Edom who descended from Reuel. All these were descendants of Esau's wife Basemath. The descendants of Esau and his wife Oholibamah became the leaders of the clans of Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the clan leaders who descended from Esau's wife Oholibamah, the daughter of Anah. These are the clans descended from Esau, also known as Edom, identified by their clan leaders. Now we're going to talk about the original peoples of Edom. These are the names of the tribes that descended from Seir the Horite. They lived in the land of Edom: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. These were the Horite clan leaders, the descendants of Seir, who lived in the land of Edom. The descendants of Lotan were Hori and Hemam. Lotan's sister was named Timnah. The descendants of Shobal were Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. The descendants of Zibeon were Aiah and Anah. This is the Anah who discovered the hot springs in the wilderness while he was grazing his father's donkeys. The descendants of Anah were his son Dishon and his daughter Oholibamah. The descendants of Dishon were Hemdan, Eshba, Ithran, and Keran. The descendants of Ezer were Bilhan, Zaavan, and Achan. The descendants of Dishan were Uz and Aran. So these were the leaders of the Horite clans: Lotan, Shobal, Zibian, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. The Horite clans were named after their clan leaders who lived in the land of Seir. Now we're going to talk about the rulers of Edom. These are the kings who ruled in the land of Edom before any king ruled over the Israelites. Bela, son of Beor, who ruled in Edom from his city of Dinhabah. When Bela died, Jobab, son of Zerah, from Bozrah, became king in his place. When Jobab died, Husham, from the land of the Temanites, became king of his place. When Husham died, Hadad, son of Bedad, became king in his place and ruled from the city of Avith. He was the one who defeated the Midianites in the land of Moab. When Hadad died, Samlah from the city of Masrekah became king in his place. When Samlah died, Shaul from the city of Rehoboth on the river became king in his place. When Shaul died, Baal Hanan, son of Akbor, became king in his place. When Baal Hanan, son of Akbor, died, Hadad became king in his place and ruled from the city of Pau. His wife was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred and granddaughter of Me-Zahab. These are the names of the leaders of the clans descended from Esau who lived in the places named for them: Timnah, Alva, Jetheth, Oholibamah, Elah, Pinon, Kenaz, Teman, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Iram. These are the leaders of the clans of Edom, listed according to their settlements in the land they occupied. They all descended from Esau, the ancestor of the Edomites. Now we're on to chapter 37, Joseph's dreams. First, I'm going to take a sip of drink. Jacob's dreams. So, Jacob settled again in the land of Canaan, where his father had lived as a foreigner. This is the account of Jacob and his family. When Joseph was 17 years old, he often tended his father's flocks. He worked for his half-brothers, the sons of his father's wives, Bilhah and Zilpah. But Joseph reported to his father some of the bad things his brothers were doing. Jacob loved Joseph more than any of his other children because Joseph had been born to him in his old age. So one day Jacob had a special gift made for Joseph, a beautiful robe. But his brothers hated Joseph because their father loved him more than the rest of them. They couldn't say a kind word to him. One night, Joseph had a dream, and when he told his brothers about it, they hated him more than ever. "Listen to this dream," he said. "We were out in the field tying up bundles of grain. Suddenly, my bundle stood up, and your bundles all gathered around and bowed low before mine." His brothers responded, "So you think you will be our king, do you? Do you actually think you will reign over us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dreams and the way he talked about them. Soon, Joseph had another dream, and again he told his brothers about it. "Listen, I've had another dream," he said. "The sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed low before me." This time he told the dream to his father as well as to his brothers, but his father scolded him. "What kind of dream is that?" he asked. Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow to the ground before you?" But while his brothers were jealous of Joseph, his father wondered what the dreams meant. Okay, so his father is even interpreting that as meaning him and his brothers, because this time around, he dreamed about what? The sun, the moon, and 11 stars. So the sun, who would that be? The father? The moon, is that the mother? And the 11 stars, those are his brothers? Soon after this, Joseph's brothers went to pasture their father's flocks at Shechem. When they had been gone for some time, Jacob said to Joseph, "Your brothers are pasturing the sheep at Shechem. Get ready and I will send you to them." "I'm ready to go," Joseph replied. "Go and see how your brothers and the flocks are getting along," Jacob said. "Then come back and bring me a report." So Jacob sent him on his way, and Joseph traveled to Shechem from their home in the valley of Hebron. When he arrived there, a man from the area noticed him wandering around the countryside. "What are you looking for?" he asked. "I'm looking for my brothers," Joseph replied. "Do you know where they are pasturing their sheep?" "Yes," the man told him. "They have moved on from here, but I heard them say, 'Let's go to Dothan.'" So Joseph followed his brothers to Dothan and found them there. Now Joseph is sold into slavery. When Joseph's brothers saw him coming, they recognized him in the distance. As he approached, they made plans to kill him. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. "Come on, let's kill him and throw him in one of these cisterns. We can tell our father a wild animal has eaten him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams." But when Reuben heard of their scheme, he came to Joseph's rescue. "Let's not kill him," he said. "Why should we shed any blood? Let's just throw him in this empty cistern here in the wilderness. Then he'll die without our laying a hand on him." Reuben was secretly planning to rescue Joseph and return him to his father. So when Joseph arrived, his brothers ripped off the beautiful robe he was wearing. Then they grabbed him and threw him into the cistern. Now the cistern was empty. There was no water in it. Then, just as they were sitting down to eat, they looked up and saw a caravan of camels in the distance coming toward them. It was a group of Ishmaelites, traders taking a load of gum, balm, and aromatic resin from Gilead down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, "What will we gain by killing our brother? We'd have to cover up the crime. Instead of hurting him, let's sell him to those Ishmaelite traders. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood." And his brothers agreed. So when the Ishmaelites, who were Midianites traders, came by, Joseph's brothers pulled him out of the cistern and sold him to them for 20 pieces of silver, and the traders took him to Egypt. Sometime later, Reuben returned to get Joseph out of the cistern, but when he discovered that Joseph was missing, he tore his clothes in grief. Then he went back to his brothers and lamented, "The boy's gone. What will I do now?" Then the brothers killed a young goat and dipped Joseph's robe in its blood. They sent the beautiful robe to their father with this message: "Look at what we found. Doesn't this robe belong to your son?" Their father recognized it immediately. "Yes," he said, "it's my son's robe. A wild animal must have eaten him. Joseph has clearly been torn to pieces." Then Jacob tore his clothes and dressed himself in burlap. He mourned deeply for his son for a long time. His family all tried to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "I will go to my grave mourning for my son," he would say, and then he would weep. Meanwhile, the Midianite leaders arrived in Egypt, where they sold Joseph to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Potiphar was captain of the palace guard. I think I got one more chapter. No, I don't. Okay. Judah and Tamar. Judah and Tamar, chapter 38. About this time, Judah left home and moved to Adullam, where he stayed with a man named Hira. There he saw a Canaanite woman, the daughter of Shua, and he married her. When he slept with her, she became pregnant and gave birth to a son, and he named the boy There she became pregnant again and gave birth to another son, and she named him Onan. And when she gave birth to a third son, she named him Shelah. At the time of Shelah's birth, they were living at Kezib. In the course of time, Judah arranged for his firstborn son to marry a young woman named Tamar. But was a wicked man in the Lord's sight, so the Lord took his life. What did he do? What kind of kid did they raise? Good grief. Then Judah said to brother Onan, "Go and marry Tamar. As our law requires of the brother of a man who has died, you must produce an heir for your brother." But Onan was not willing to have a child who would not be his own heir, so whenever he had intercourse with his brother's wife, he spilled the semen on the ground. This prevented her from having a child who would belong to his brother. But the Lord considered it evil for Onan to deny a child to his dead brother, so the Lord took Onan's life too. Then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, "Go back to your parents' home and remain a widow until my son Shelah is old enough to marry you." But Judah didn't really intend to do this because he was afraid Shelah would also die like his two brothers. So Tamar went back to live in her father's home. Some years later, Judah's wife died. After the time of mourning was over, Judah and his friend Hira, the Adullamite, went up to Timnah to supervise the shearing of his sheep. Someone told Tamar, "Look, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep." Tamar, who was aware that Shelah had grown up, but no arrangements had been made for her to come and marry him. So she changed out of her widow's clothing and covered herself with a veil to disguise herself. Then she sat beside the road at the entrance to the village of Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. Judah noticed her and thought she was a prostitute, since she had a cover on her face. So he stopped and propositioned her. "Let me have sex with you," he said, not realizing that she was his own daughter-in-law. "How much will you pay to have sex with me?" Tamar asked. "I'll send you a young goat from my flock," Judah promised. "But what will you give me to guarantee that you will send the goat?" she asked. "What kind of guarantee do you want?" he replied. She answered, "Leave me your identification seal and its cord and the walking stick you are carrying." So Judah gave them to her. Then he had intercourse with her, and she became pregnant. Afterwards, she went back home, took off her veil, and put on the widow's clothing as usual. This is so weird. This is so very, very weird. Later, Judah asked his friend Hira the Adullamite to take the young goat to the woman and to pick up the things he had given her as a guarantee, but Hira couldn't find her. So he asked the men who lived there, "Where can I find the shrine prostitute who was sitting beside the road at the entrance to Enaim?" "We've never had a shrine prostitute here," they replied. So Hira returned to Judah and told him, "I couldn't find her anywhere, and the men of the village claimed they've never heard of a shrine prostitute there." "Then let her keep the things I gave her," Judah said. I sent the young goat as we agreed, but you couldn't find her. We'd be the laughing stock of the village if I went back again to look for her." About 3 months later, Judah was told, "Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has acted like a prostitute, and now because of this, she's pregnant. Bring her out and let her be burned," Judah demanded. But as they were taking her out to kill her, she sent this message to her father-in-law. "The man who owns these things made me pregnant. Look closely. Whose seal and cord and walking stick are these?" Judah recognized them immediately and said, "She's more righteous than I am, because I didn't arrange for her to marry my son Shelah. And Judah never slept with Tamar again. When the time came for Tamar to give birth, it was discovered that she was carrying twins. While she was in labor, one of the babies reached out his hand. The midwife grabbed it and tied a scarlet string around the child's wrist, announcing, "This one came out first." But then he pulled back his hand and out came his brother. "What?" the midwife exclaimed. "How did you break out first?" So he was named Perez. Then the baby with the scarlet string on his wrist was born, and he was named Zerah. Okay, let's see what Perez means. Perez means breaking out, and Zerah means scarlet or brightness. I'm telling you, these accounts of what have happened in the Bible, I'm saying this is more real than any reality show. Oh, wow. I think I'm gonna stop it there. We've got, let's see, Genesis 50. Oh no, but let me check in with this guide again. I want to keep reading because it's getting so juicy. Right now, we just completed chapter 38. Wow, Judah and Tamar, his own daughter-in-law. Good grief! I'm telling you, these Bible folks. They say not everybody in church is righteous, and not everybody in the Bible is righteous either, right? Just goes to show you so many things can happen, but some of these people are still blessed. Okay, so if I end up here 39, then tomorrow I can finish up with 40 and 42, which will bring us to the end of the second week's reading of Genesis. And so that's what I'm going to do. I am going to finish up with chapter 39 here, and then we'll pick this up tomorrow. Okay, we're still in Genesis chapter 39, starts now. Joseph in Potiphar's house. When Joseph was taken to Egypt by the Ishmaelite traders, he was purchased by Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. Potiphar was captain of the guard for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. The Lord was with Joseph, so he succeeded in everything he did as he served in the home of his Egyptian master. Potiphar noticed this and realized that the Lord was with Joseph, giving him success in everything he did. This pleased Potiphar, so he soon made Joseph his personal attendant. He put him in charge of his entire household and everything he owned. From the day Joseph was put in charge of his master's household and property, the Lord began to bless Potiphar's household for Joseph's sake. All his household affairs ran smoothly, and his crops and livestock flourished. So Potiphar gave Joseph complete administrative responsibility over everything he owned. With Joseph there, he didn't worry about a thing, except what kind of food to eat. Are they alluding to the fact that at this time the Hebrews only ate certain things, like they didn't eat pork, right? And everything had to be kosher? Question. That's not an answer, that's a question. Or that's a commentary. Joseph was a very handsome and well-built young man, and Potiphar's wife soon began to look at him lustfully. Ooh. Come and sleep with me, she demanded, but Joseph refused her. Look, he told her, my master trusts me with everything in his entire household. No one here has more authority than I do. He's held back nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How could I do such a wicked thing? It would be a great sin against God. She kept putting pressure on Joseph day after day. But he refused to sleep with her, and he kept out of her way as much as possible. One day, however, no one else was around when he went to do his work. She came and grabbed him by his cloak, demanding, come on, sleep with me. Joseph tore himself away, but he left his cloak in her hand as he ran from the house. When she saw that she was holding his cloak and he had fled, she called out to her servants. Soon all the men came running. Look, she said, my husband has brought this Hebrew slave here to make fools of us. He came into my room to rape me, but I screamed. When he heard me scream, he ran outside and got away, but he left his cloak behind with me. She kept the cloak with her until her husband came. Then she told him the story. That Hebrew slave you brought into our house tried to come in and fool around with me, she said, but when I screamed, he ran outside, leaving his cloak with me. And now Joseph is put into prison. Verse 19 of 39. Potiphar was furious when he heard his wife's story about how Joseph had treated her, allegedly. So he took Joseph and threw him into the prison where the king's prisoners were held, and there he remained. But the Lord was with Joseph in the prison and showed him his faithful love. And the Lord made Joseph a favorite with the prison warden. Before long, the warden put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners and over everything that happened in the prison. The warden had no more worries because Joseph took care of everything. The Lord was with him and caused everything he did to succeed. And that is the end of chapter 39 of Genesis. So much deception, lust, manipulation, lies, adultery, death, birth, and we're still in the book of Genesis. Let me know what you guys think about this reading. Let me know if you have your own commentary, if you have your own questions, if you have answers, if you have insight. I would love to know what you think about the accounts of what is going on in Genesis so far. I want everybody to have a great Saturday. If you are looking for this particular book, this particular Bible, or the guide that I am reading from, the links are in the description. And today is day 11 of me reading the Bible for every day, reading the Bible every day, and I'm using the guide to read it throughout the year. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and I will see you guys in the next live stream where you can watch me, Kenya, of 40 Entrepreneur Drive. And now for the theme song. Entrepreneur Drive, 40 Entrepreneur Drive. Entrepreneur Drive, 40 Entrepreneur Drive. Entrepreneur Drive, 40 Entrepreneur Drive. Thanks for watching, share, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow me on social media.